The silence of space had been Elias's only companion for 18 months. Stationed at Outpost Epsilon, the most remote human research facility in the Andromeda Quadrant, he'd grown accustomed to the quiet. His days blended together in a monotonous rhythm of equipment checks, data collection, and staring out at the endless void. Another thrilling day in paradise, Elias muttered as he calibrated the long-range scanners. His reflection stared back at him from the control panel, disheveled brown hair, tired eyes, and a beard he'd stopped trimming weeks ago. The alarm blared without warning, red lights flashing across the command center. Proximity alert. Unknown object approaching station perimeter, the AI announced in its flat, emotionless voice. Elias jolted upright, heart pounding. Display visual. The screen flickered to life, showing what appeared to be a small craft, or rather, what remained of one. It tumbled slowly through space, trailing debris and what looked like frozen liquid. "That's not on any scheduled supply route," Elias whispered. His fingers flew across the controls, activating the retrieval drones. "Computer, scan for life signs." One life form detected. Biological signature unknown. Elias's breath caught in his throat. First contact? Here, now. He activated the station's defense protocols but hesitated before engaging weapons. Something about the craft's erratic path suggested it wasn't a threat, but a vessel in distress. Deploy Retrieval Team Alpha. Bring it to Docking Bay 3. Hours later, Elias stood outside the sealed airlock, medical kit in hand. The salvage drones had recovered a small escape pod, its hull marked with strange symbols and scorched from what looked like weapons fire. "Here goes nothing," he whispered. Overriding the safety protocols and cracking the seal, steam hissed out as the pod opened, revealing its occupant. Elias gasped. She was humanoid, but definitely not human. Her skin was a soft purple hue that seemed to shimmer slightly under the harsh lights. Long silver hair framed delicate features, unmarred except for a gash across her forehead. Her eyes fluttered open, startlingly violet against her lavender skin. "Hello?" Elias said softly, showing his empty hands. "You're safe now." The alien woman tried to sit up, but winced in pain. A dark liquid blood seeped through her strange, iridescent clothing. "Laurel. Navi Ikta," she whispered, her voice melodic despite the clear distress. "I don't understand," Elias replied, slowly approaching. "But you're hurt. Let me help." Her eyes widened with fear, but exhaustion and pain quickly overwhelmed her. She slumped back, unconscious. Elias carried her to the medical bay, acutely aware of how light she felt in his arms. He laid her gently on the examination table, hesitating before connecting any human medical equipment to her clearly alien physiology. Computer adaptive, biological scan. Full spectrum. As the soft blue light passed over her body, Elias noticed the strange pendant around her neck, a crystal that seemed to pulse with inner light. "Basic biological structures similar to human," the computer reported. "Respiratory systems compatible with station atmosphere. Warning, unknown cellular structure detected." Elias nodded, relieved she could at least breathe the station's air. He carefully cleaned and dressed her wounds, all while wondering who she was and what she was running from. "What brought you here?" he whispered, though she couldn't hear him. "And what am I supposed to do with you now?" As if in response, her fingers twitched, brushing against his hand. A jolt of warmth shot up his arm, not unpleasant, but startling. For the first time in 18 months of isolation, Elias felt something new stir within him. Hope. 3 days passed before the alien woman regained full consciousness. Elias had barely left the medical bay, catching sleep in short bursts on a cot he'd dragged beside her bed. When her eyes finally opened, fully alert and aware, he nearly knocked over his coffee in surprise. "You're awake," he said softly. Approaching slowly to avoid startling her, she tensed, violet eyes darting around the unfamiliar surroundings before settling on him. Her hand moved instinctively to the pendant at her neck. "Elias." The woman watched him carefully before mimicking his gesture. "Naira," she replied, her voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Naira, he repeated, smiling. Beautiful name. Over the following days, they developed a rudimentary communication system. Naira proved remarkably intelligent, absorbing human language with astonishing speed. Her purple fingers would point to objects, and Elias would name them. Watching her lips form the unfamiliar sounds. Dar, she said one evening, pointing out the viewport at a particularly bright celestial body. Yes, Star, Elias confirmed, fascinated by how the station lights reflected in her violet eyes. My home, she added unexpectedly, near Star. Elias felt his heart skip. You remember your home? Your people? Naira's expression darkened. She touched her healed wounds and made a gesture like something exploding. Bad people chase. I escape. You're a refugee, Elias whispered, understanding dawning. Someone's hunting you. That night, Elias found Naira in the observation deck, staring out at the endless expanse of space. Her silver hair floated gently in the lower gravity section, and her purple skin seemed to glow in the starlight. Something about her silhouette against the backdrop of stars stole his breath away. Can't sleep? He asked, floating toward her. Naira turned a sad smile on her face. Dreams. Not good. Elias nodded, understanding all too well. Nightmares, she repeated. Yes. Impulsively, he reached out, his hand hovering near hers. After a moment's hesitation, Naira intertwined her fingers with his. The same pleasant warmth he'd felt before spread up his arm. What is this? He asked, gesturing to their joined hands and the sensation between them. My people connect through touch, she explained haltingly. Share feelings. You feel ... lonely. Long time alone, Leah swallowed hard. 18 months. Naira's eyes softened. I feel safe with you. First time. Long time they floated together in comfortable silence, watching distant galaxies spin. When Naira shivered slightly, Elias hesitated only briefly before putting his arm around her shoulders. She leaned into him, her head resting against his chest. Let me stay by your side, human, she whispered in her improving English. I'll be your shield and your warmth. Elias didn't understand exactly what she meant. But as her warmth seeped into him, melting the ice that had formed around his heart during his long isolation, he knew he never wanted her to leave. The communication alert woke Elias from a deep sleep. He fumbled for his tablet, squinting at the message notification. After months of silence, suddenly Outpost Epsilon was receiving transmissions and not from Earth Command. Unknown signal detected, the computer announced. Origin. Sector 9 Alpha. Language parameters unknown. Elias felt his blood run cold. Sector 9 Alpha, exactly where Naira's damaged escape pod had come from. He rushed to find her, tablet in hand. Naira was in the hydroponics bay, seemingly fascinated by the growing plants. In the artificial light, her purple skin took on a softer lilac hue. She looked up as he entered, her smile fading when she saw his expression. Someone's broadcasting, he said, showing her the tablet. From where you came from? Color drained from her face, leaving her skin a pale lavender. They find me, she whispered, fingers trembling as she touched the screen. How? I don't know. The signal's encrypted, but they're scanning this quadrant. Who are they, Naira?
Why are they hunting you?
Naira's eyes glistened with tears. My people... Lyrians? I am... important. Her hand went to her pendant. This crystal? Royal blood? Your royalty? Elias asked, pieces falling into place. She nodded reluctantly. To be joined with... Alliance family. Political marriage. Her face twisted with disgust. He cruel, power-hungry, would use me to control my world. Elias watched emotions play across her face. Fear. Anger. Determination. So you ran. For freedom, she confirmed. Then looked directly into his eyes. Never thought find more than freedom. Find ... connection. His heart raced as her fingers brushed against his cheek, sending that now familiar warmth cascading through him. For weeks, they'd been dancing around the growing feelings between them, both afraid to name what was happening. They traced that escape pod here, ... double quotes, Elias began. They will, Naira said grimly. Must leave. Not safe for you. Elias caught her hand. I'm not afraid. Should be, she whispered. They destroy anything in way. Late that night. Elias found Naira packing the few belongings she'd accumulated during her stay. Primarily clothes he'd altered to fit her, slider frame, and some botanical samples she'd become attached to. You're really leaving? He asked, voice cracking. Naira turned, eyes bright with unshed tears. Must protect you. Elias crossed the room in 3 strides, taking her hands in his. What if I don't want protection? What if I want you? Her breath caught. Slowly, deliberately, she placed her palm against his chest. The connection between them flared, stronger than before. Elias gasped as emotions not his own flooded him. Fear, longing, and something deeper, warmer. Dangerous, she whispered, but didn't pull away when he drew her closer. I've been alone too long, he murmured against her silver hair. I'm not letting you disappear into the stars without me. Proximity alarm chose that moment to shatter their embrace. Vessel detected, the computer announced. Approaching at high velocity, they exchanged a look of shared terror. They're here. The approaching vessel loomed on the view screen, its sleek, crystalline structure unlike any human spacecraft. Emblazoned across its hull were markings similar to those on Naira's pendant. Royal Guard, Naira whispered, her purple fingers tightening around Elias's. Come take me home. They watched as the ship slowed, taking position near the station. No communication attempts yet, just silent, menacing presence. What happens if you go back? Elias asked, not taking his eyes off the alien craft. Naira's voice trembled. Join with Calzerone. Bear royal children. Never speak own thoughts again. Her violet eyes met his. Die inside while body lives. Elias turned to her fully now, taking in her delicate features, the silver hair that seemed to capture starlight, the purple skin he'd grown to find so beautiful. And if you don't go back? War, maybe. Zeron wants our crystal technology. This small piece powers your whole station. Imagine weapons made from larger crystals. Elias swallowed hard. So either way, people suffer. Yes, she said simply, tears sliding down her lavender cheeks. The communication panel chimed. They were being hailed. What do we do? Elias whispered. Instead of answering, Naira took his face in her hands. The connection between them opened wider than ever before, flooding him with images of a crystalline city beneath twin moons, royal chambers where she'd lived imprisoned in luxury, the escape she'd planned for cycles, and then ... him. He saw himself through her eyes, felt her wonder at finding someone who valued her mind, her spirit. I choose you, she whispered against his lips. If you choose me? Elias responded by kissing her tentatively at first. Then with growing passion as the empathic connection between them amplified every sensation. Her skin was warm silk beneath his fingers, her silver hair like spun moonlight as he ran his hands through it. I've been alone so long, he murmured against her neck. Then you came, bringing stardust and wonder. They moved to his quarters, the communication panel temporarily forgotten. In the soft light, Naira's purple skin seemed to glow from within as she removed her garments. Elias traced reverent fingers along her shoulders, marveling at how alien yet familiar her body was. Beautiful, he whispered, and felt her pleasure through their connection. Join, she said simply, drawing him closer. Their union was more than physical, the empathic bond letting them experience each other completely, barriers dissolving between human and Lyrian. Until Elias wasn't sure where he ended and she began. Afterward, as they lay entwined, the reality of their situation came crashing back. The alien ship still waited. Earth would eventually expect reports. Two worlds pulled at them from opposite directions. I can't go back, Naira whispered into the darkness. Not after knowing freedom. Knowing you, Elias stroked her silver hair, mind racing. I have nowhere to go. This station is all I have. Naira raised herself on one elbow, her purple skin luminescent in the starlight. "We find new place. Together." The communication panel chimed again, more insistent this time. "Decision time," Elias said, his heart pounding. "Incoming transmission," announced the computer. "Unknown language detected." Elias took a deep breath and activated the screen. A stern-faced Lyrian male appeared, his purple skin darker than Naira's, adorned with luminescent markings of rank. "Captain Vex," Naira said, stepping into view. She addressed him in their language, musical phrases that sounded like poetry even when conveying defiance. The captain replied sharply, gesturing at Elias with evident disgust. The conversation grew heated until Naira slammed her hand against the console. "Enough," she shouted, switching to English. "Tell Zarin I never return. Throne, find new heir." "He says I'm a primitive animal," Elias translated her earlier translation. "That I've corrupted you." Naira's eyes flashed dangerously. "He knows nothing of humans. Of you." She turned back to the screen. "Leave us in peace, Vex, or I activate Crystal's primary function." The captain's expression changed from contempt to alarm. He spoke rapidly, his tone threatening. "What did you tell him?" Elias asked when the transmission ended. "Royal crystals have two purposes," Naira explained, touching her pendant. "Power in destruction. Self-destruct if royal blood is threatened." She met his eyes. "Bluff. Mostly. Naira's smile was enigmatic. "Crystal resonates with emotions. Strong enough feelings?" She shrugged. The station's proximity alert sounded again. The Lyrian ship was moving, positioning weapons. "They're going to fire," Elias said, racing to the control panel. "Station defenses won't hold against their technology." "Need plan," Naira said, her purple fingers dancing across the station's controls with newfound familiarity. "Escape pods? One left, but where would we go?" "Nearest habitable system is light years away." Naira's pendant suddenly flared with brilliant light. "Crystal responds to my distress. Can use it?" "How?" "Amplify signal. Call for help." Her violet eyes locked with his. "But must be certain. My people, mother's sisters might respond. Or Zarin's forces. Gamble." The station shuddered as the first shot struck its outer defenses. "Not much choice," Elias said grimly. Naira nodded, closing her eyes and placing both hands around her pendant. It began to pulse, each wave of light growing stronger, until the entire command center was bathed in its glow. "What's happening?" Elias asked, shielding his eyes. "The message sent," Naira whispered, swaying slightly. "Now we wait." They didn't wait long. Space itself seemed to ripple before them as a new ship materialized, larger than the Royal Guard vessel, its crystalline structure more elaborate, pulsing with the same light as Naira's pendant. "Queen's vessel," Naira breathed, eyes wide with shock. "My mother." The next hour passed in a blur. The Royal Guard ship retreated hastily. Communications flew back and forth. Naira alternated between tears and laughter as she spoke with her mother for the first time since her escape. "She thought I dead," Naira explained to Elias. "Zaran told all I perished during journey. And now. Naira took his hands, her purple skin warm against his. "Mother offers choice. Return home as Free Woman Alliance with Zaran broken, or become ambassador to humans. First official contact between our worlds." Her violet eyes searched his. "With you, if you wish." Elias felt his world expanding, the lonely outpost suddenly just one tiny speck in a universe full of possibilities. "What do you want?" he asked. "Want you," she said simply. "Want stars? Want freedom?" She smiled. All possible now. Later, as they stood before the Queen, regal Lyrian, with wise eyes and ceremonial markings that glittered like constellations across her dark, purple skinny Leas felt a strange sense of coming home. Despite being farther from Earth than any human had traveled before, two worlds, the Queen said, in carefully practiced English, joined through love. Perhaps better foundation than politics, yes? As Neera's hand found his, their fingers intertwining, the familiar warmth of their connection spread between them, no longer just two individuals, but a bridge between civilizations, between stars. "Let me stay by your side," Naira whispered, echoing her words from what seemed a lifetime ago. "Always," Elias replied. Across all the cosmos,